me Archana. Subscribe to Express News Asia.
In the world, there is so much of not just the cognitive learning that most schools focus on today, but a lot about social, emotional and physical aspects that the child needs to, not to just face the world. I don't believe in this thing of, you need to face the world. Actually, we need to create a world. And this world needs to be not just, I see some vision statements of schools, and I'm sure many of us have seen that, helping our child to face the society. In my mind, the society is created by a generation. And to that, creating independent thinking and socially responsible as well as self-directed learners is very, very critical. I have a slight dichotomy here, which with the permission of Kannan, I will say, what I believe that Kannan and School Dude is professing as an after-school activity, in my mind should actually even be integrated in a school. But unfortunately, thanks to so many restrictions and constraints, we need to resort to an after-school scenario which promotes this. But this is a big step, I would say, and something that we need to really bat for. And that would be my beginning statement. Yeah.
It's done outside. I come from a time when our parents didn't organize our after-school activities. So we could play in the neighbor's house or they came home. I'm sure boys could play down the road or in someone else's compound. It was much safer at better times. If only we could get an app like this those days, it would be like, it's like wishful thinking. And whatever I've understood of the app, I think much can be done for the children, a lot. They'll be spending their time wisely, they'll be usefully, and while enjoying themselves. The other thing is, we have nuclear families, we have families with one child, 2 children max. If you hear of 3, it's a large family. Again, I come from a time when 4 children was the normal, as a small family. 4 children used to be a small family. So then, maybe that's another reason why parents didn't have to, the elders didn't have to work out what we did after school. Okay, but today we need this. And we're very lucky if we can get a platform where they're safe while also learning a lot. And learning things in a happy and in a fun way.
So let me share what I feel as I'm listening to this. Are they, as equal, less equal, more equal? I just think they both make the whole. And as much as I, wanted to come here and really profess the importance of after school or, extracurricular activities as we commonly know it, I'm actually thinking that academics is equally important. Not the way we know it and not the way we've sort of experienced it as grades, but pure academics is so important to, I think, building of core competence in an individual. Can't sort of be underplayed. Now let's come to the second part of it. I think I talk from personal experience. Growing up, I was fortunate to have experiences largely, I think, given by my parents, who I think didn't realize they were doing it, but in an environment of absolute freedom. So, got the opportunity to taste very many activities. Just going to take a pause here. Very many activities, whether it was, sports or jamming or debate or needlework, name it, and I sort of had my hand in the pie. At one point of time, I was actually thinking, am I sort of going to become a jack of all trades? But you know what? It's okay to be like that. It's important that you get that exposure and opportunity. So I think I consider myself a living example for being the advocate of that. And also, apart from being a coach who works with largely adults, I also enjoy working with young adults, children. And I have two myself. I have two teenagers myself. And my sons actually agreed to join me here today to hear what I have to say, not as a parent. I think it's absolutely important to give that opportunity to children to just do multiple things and not sort of think of where is it adding up. So yes, opening remarks is that absolutely equally important to the way we look at academics. Thanks.
For us, particularly as we tend to nurture young minds, and also I'm referring to old bodies which have young minds, which is the facet of attention. It's something that we haven't been adequately trained, but an important facet that we have been taught subjects, but we have not necessarily been taught how to pay attention to particular subjects. It has now been shown by a combination of psychology and neuroscience, something that our traditional practices have known for thousands of years, our cultures have known this, that a wandering mind is an unhealthy mind and an unhappy mind. So there are certain practices that we can inculcate, particularly among the youth, and certainly also in my work with adults as well, that we can train attention, and the intelligence that is required to cultivate attention is, in my opinion, and the opinion of very wise scholars, and I'm just a representation of some wisdom from both the East and the West, which has communicated that if we can train our mind to be attentive, there is enough data, and one particular data which resonated with me is that a study conducted by Harvard University showed that 47% of the time we are not thinking of what we are actually doing. So right now, as you're paying attention to this bald man talking, maybe the conversation in one's head is about the samosas outside this room. Not quite natural for that to happen. So can we cultivate attention, and that would be something that would be immensely valuable to the young and also not so young. Thank you.
And there is so much of connection between energy chakras and age of the child's development. For example, you say you're talking about the 6th to 12th grade, which essentially in my mind would be pre-adolescent and adolescent, and that completely needs to be mapped to the 6th and 7th chakra. Why I'm bringing that here, I think Sanjay spoke about attention, that is so important, and we are all today, children today and adults today are suffering from two deficiencies, if I can say. One is the attention deficiency and the other is the nature deficiency, and both these are correlated. My only thing is, as long as school can through digital move children in that age group to outside the screen time. I mean, the screen time is something that has contributed to a lot of attention deficiency and nature deficiency. So how do we connect that? And how do we, while passing the knowledge, and like Kannan was saying, in this very critical age group, which is forming the balance of our intuitive chakra, as you call it, the 5th chakra, 6th chakra, and the spiritual connection chakra. How do you bring this balance, tapping and leveraging on something as powerful as technology, but at the same time make this age group move out of technology into the real world of nature and people. People are also part of the nature. So it's a very challenging thing, and I'm sure Kannan and his team has worked on a framework that will not, I would say, enable and enhance these deficiencies, but help break leveraging and tapping on something as powerful as technology. Today all of us are so caught on. The only thing when people, I belong to this very small minority who doesn't have WhatsApp on my phone, and I know Kannan had difficulty reaching to me, and he was reaching me, asking me, are you not on WhatsApp? Met a couple of friends today and they are like, you're not on WhatsApp. I know it's a very difficult thing. Sometimes people think that I'm on some sannyas, and they think that I'm not belonging to the world. But what I'm trying to say is that's how powerful technology is, and I know how I'm trying to overcome this difficulty because of exactly what Sanjay was talking about, attention, deep work. As a CEO of an organization, I felt that I need to get into deep work, and I decided to get myself out of a few social media channels and WhatsApp, etc. I'm only trying to see here if we are able to balance the power of technology to throwing, I don't know if throwing is the right word, to liberating children into what is required for a healthy development. I think we've done it, and I'm really wishing that School Dude will do that.
Have a curriculum to finish which is syllabus bound. Okay, they all are part of some board or the other, and it's syllabus bound. So when you say after that when they come home, there is some amount of follow-up work to be done. Along with that, I think School Dudes, what would be ideal is that it's flexible. It gives children time to choose what they can do in the time they want to, which is versus a teacher having a fixed timing and you must try and make it to the class at that time. So I think that's going to be a big plus. The second plus is in the younger classes, that is when they're 12 and 13 and 14, they'll have more time versus when they reach the 10th and the board going years, when they have to prepare for NEET and all the other entrance exams. But at the same time, let's say someone's inclined to music and through School Dudes can find similar-minded children who want to jam or play or make a band. I'm sure they'll be able to do it. And with a very reliable person at the helm. So the people that you meet through School Dudes, I'm assuming would be children that you won't mind your children associating with. So this is very similar to if you send, if there's a teacher who's teaching dance and she's reputed, you assume that all the students who go there come from like-minded families. Okay? The same way, all those, when you send children to School Dudes, I think we'll assume that children from very similar backgrounds. And here I'm not saying a child is good or bad, but I'm just talking about it's easier when they come from similar thinking, families that have a particular sense of values.